My name is Tracy Tucker. I'm a chaplain for community hospice and palliative care in the spiritual care department. I've been with this organization for almost 7 years now. This patient had come into our care, and I responded as I do by making a personal face-to-face visit in the long-term care facility where she was living. When I went there the first time to see her, she was a little confused, but a delightful person to sit with. I recall that what she wanted more than anything else really was, she wanted orange juice. So I said to her, I'm glad to provide that for you. I went over to the table and I grabbed her little cup and gave it to her, and she seemed to enjoy it, taking her time as she drank it. And then when she finished, I said, are you doing okay now? And she said, yes, but I'd like more orange juice. So I went out in the hall, I found a nurse, and I made them aware that she was wanting some more orange juice. I just remember that as one of the great moments, because it was an opportunity for me to do something tangibly that I think really made a difference for her.
So I nominated our team chaplain, Tracy Tucker, for the memorable moments, because when I made my bereavement call after the patient passed away to the daughter, she told me how meaningful it had been and what a comfort it had been that Tracy had been there after her mother had passed away.
So as the primary caregiver in this case, they notified me when the patient had passed, and I reached out to the family member, let her know the last contact I had with her and how she was doing and the comfort level she had, and that meant so much to her. She told me that the chaplain was amazing, that he stepped in. Not only was he there for her mom, so during the last minute she didn't have to be alone, but he also offered to take all of her belongings that the family member was curious about, and making sure that she did not lose these items. He packed all of those up and brought them here to hospice so they would be safe for her to pick up at her time frame. Because of living so far away, she was afraid she wouldn't be able to get there in time to take care of all the belongings. But just having someone there in the room was just immeasurable to her. She said, Mindy, that made me feel so much better.
To give you a little background on this patient and her family, she was admitted to our program when she was already in one of the nursing homes that I go into, and her daughter was not able to come down readily and visit her mother. There had been a little bit of a situation with the nursing home that her mother was in, and the daughter was very, very relieved that community hospice was coming in and being a part of her mother's care. We were like a second pair of eyes and ears for her, because she had had a medical emergency with her husband, and so she was not able to readily get down to visit her mother down here in Florida.
The support that chaplain brings, I believe, is a holistic support. It is not just for the patient. It also involves the care of the patient's family or caregivers. In fact, sometimes that really is where more of the emphasis of our care is provided, is with those that are going through the experience of loss and grief. And I felt like this patient's daughter, who was out of town, had really not had much contact with the patient in recent years and months, was having a mixture of feelings and was trying to sort through that. I wanted to give her some space to do that, and I felt like one of the best ways to do that, long distance, was to take away some of the concern that she had here in this area for her mother and all the stuff that goes with having to wrap up or bring closure to this era in the patient's life. She would not have to ever come back to this facility. She wouldn't have to worry about whether the room was completely purged of all the personal items, and and whether there were any details left. I felt like that I had an opportunity here to give this patient's daughter a chance to do some effective grieving.
So I can't explain to you what a difference it made, being able to be there for the family member, for the patient, being so far away from home, being so far away from her was really hard for the daughter, and she just wanted to make sure her mother was taken very good care of. I was able to see her at the funeral afterwards, and the first thing she did when she got out of the car was walk over to myself and Pam, the social worker, and just give us the biggest hug and say, "You will never know what a difference having you there and being the eyes and ears for my mom, and all the care that you provided and the information you gave me was so invaluable. Thank you guys for all you did."